This is me. What's up, y'all? I'm coming at you with a dialysis review for January 19th. So, today in dialysis, I came in at 75.6. I'm currently staying in this homeless shelter, and the kitchen and the food are monitored. Even if it belongs to you, you have to leave it in there where they close it away from you. And when my blood sugar goes low, because I'm a type 1 diabetic, y'all, um, I, I was told that I had to drink juice. So um, I've gotten around that so far. So they became a bit more amenable to my situation, which helped. And I tightened up my control over my blood sugar for my own sake, because if my life becomes in danger because of their rules, they'd rather put me on the street so I can die out there, which is kind of fucked up. But anyway, so I tried to pull 5.6. Now I know I would have been able to pull this 5.6 because previously on January 17th, which is the Tuesday, I was pulling 6 for the same reason. I was in the homeless shelter and drinking a bunch of fluids. But so the nurse, which is a borrowed nurse from another facility, she was looking through my authorizations and she said that the max that I could pull was 45. And I was like, well, they already had set the machine for 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 5.6 because they know that I can pull it. The people that work at that facility know that I can pull it. And she was like, "All right." So she walked off, and oh yeah, she was like, she was wondering why I was being allowed to do that, and I told her it's because I had the facility administrator's permission to do so. I was like, if you want to change it, I'm gonna have you call her. And she's like, well, she said something dismissive as if she was gonna leave it like it was. And I got rolling with my treatment. They started the treatment. Everything's going fine. I fall asleep like you do with a dialysis clinic. When you're doing dialysis, you get sleepy, you fall asleep. So I wake up with an hour left of treatment. The machine was set for 45 instead of 5.6. So I flipped the bitch, man. I'm like, so you fucking changed it anyway. And I was talking to the technician at the time, and the nurse came over and she started talking some bullshit. And I shut her down real fast, and I was not being polite. I was loud. I was awake. And I was like, call Rosetta. I told you to call Rosetta. And she said she did. And that's when I got really mad, because Rosetta, she'll say one thing and she'll do another. She's like a betrayer. She betrays you because she's a slave to the corporation. She has to follow those rules because she's afraid that, like, if something happens to me, she'll be liable and then she'll lose her job and her livelihood. And I can understand that, but I still think it's straight BS because I'm the victim here. In the past, I have been sent to the hospital on more than one occasion because of excess fluid on my body. My reservoir and my need to consume fluids is high, and I pull it off with no problem and never cramp. Like, basically ever. Virtually ever. Now, that's virtually because, like, of course, a motherfucker's gonna cramp like once or twice in a year. And that's basically and it's always like gravity cramps. I stand up and they go away, get a little saline and they go away. I can always pull my goal. And then, I called Rosetta myself, and she started passing the buck and saying that the doctor had to sign off on this. And I was like, I thought he already did. I thought we already been over this. I thought we'd been in the back room already and talked about this. I thought I had been choosing the amount of fluid that I'm going to pull for myself every fucking treatment. And she was passing the buck, and I was like, oh yeah, go ahead and pass the buck. And then, I was mad, and I called her. I got off the phone with her, and the nurse was already gone. She's just over there acting like nothing's happening, typing or whatever. She doesn't care about her patients. She doesn't care about shit. All she cares about is herself. She's there for the work for herself. And that's why she waited until I went to sleep and then changed the machine without my knowledge, which is dastardly underhanded. Dastardly underhanded. And she can't fucking deny it. That's why she sat there feeling shame and guilt and acting like I wasn't existing while I'm talking about and to her, to other nurses. And Pex is a regular, so I apologize to her. And I honestly, I don't think that I got too ignorant, but it's like they expect you to be a slave like up in there. They expect you to be a patient up in there. So it's like when you start to assert yourself and you want some justice, everybody wants to clam up and shut the fuck up about it. So that was my dialysis treatment for the 19th. So here's the synopsis. The machine stayed at 45. Nobody really gave a shit after I fucking calmed back down. The machine showed an attempted 45, and it showed that I pulled 45.18. And my weight at the end was 70.8, which means that I pulled over 4,800. So in the end, they weren't even able to stop me from pulling above the maximum amount by turning the machine down. Get that. So I text Rosetta. I text the facility administrator. And I was like, here's your proof right then and there. You can show it to the doctor. Like, there's no reason for you to cap the amount of fluid that I'm going to pull. I've been doing dialysis for 10 years. In my first 2 years, I was struggling to stay alive after treatment. I used to have to recover for 17 hours just to stop the migraine. I used to have to I had to learn how to do Reiki on my muscles because my feet popped open holes, and I fixed that. I had learned how to do massage therapy on my muscles to make sure that the blood flow was working. Now I got a feet full of veins and I got venous supply, ample venous supply. So I overcame all the things that were killing me and that put me into this situation in the first place. And now I feel like I live a life that's normal enough, because even if you have your health and you're going into these medical facilities, it is terribly stressful just to put up with medical professionals that want to diminish who you are. They want to deny your existence with rules and regulations and things like that that have nothing to do with your well-being. And then they want to hold a position that you owe them your life, that they're saving your life, that they're saving lives up in there. Well, if you have a person who you keep on the edge of death, specifically any interaction that you have with that person when you're trying to make sure that they don't die on you is going to seem like you're working to save their life, but you're not. You're actually working for yourself. You're working for a paycheck. You're working to uphold a bunch of rules that don't have nothing to do with humanity. So that was the dialysis review. I'm going to go ahead and do a double on this video. So dialysis review for the 21st of January 2023. I walked in. It was the all-star crew. It was Angelo, it was Kristen, and it was Mr. Juan. And I came up in there and they were running the show. Three people. I think Alexa was there. No, I'm Alexa, not Alexa, but I think Alicia was there too. But I can barely remember her. She was on the other side. Perhaps that was another day. But my point, the important part was that it was all regular people who know who I am. The systemic problem between dialysis centers is that they don't share information with each other because they have systems set up to run the joint, and it has nothing to do with the patients. The system has nothing to do with the specific patients. It has to do with some type of standard that's unrealistic that might adhere to most people, and then you can force everybody into the rest of it and then hope that they die in 5 years. I was told that I was going to be dead in 5 years, but on more occasions that I can count on one hand in like the first year that I was doing dialysis, and I was not doing good back then. And dialysis itself and the treatment that they give was only making me worse. I was dying. All the efforts that I put into, that I researched, is what kept me alive. It's what keeps me alive today. That's why I don't fuck with their dietitians. They're on bullshit. I don't talk to them. Like, no, not at all, because they don't even deserve their jobs. I've listened to them give terrible advice to other patients while I'm just sitting there like, But and they treat you like shit for being healthy up in there. They treat you like you don't deserve to be in there because you're not dying. Even other patients treat you like you don't deserve to be in there, or you don't deserve to complain about anything because you're not dying. And I'm like, this came from effort. I used to be worse than you are, old lady. This old lady said that I scared her when I was trying to stop them from turning down the machine on me and telling them what they were doing was wrong. You scared me. I'm like, good, you should be scared. Something did happen. Something happened to me. And she didn't care to hear that. She didn't even acknowledge it. That's all right. She deserves pity. She is an overweight Caucasian female, and you can tell by the way ignorant, illogical way she came at me and the way that she reacted to what I was saying. She didn't hear anything that I was saying. She didn't care about anything that I was saying. She didn't care about the fact that something happened to me. She just wanted to make sure I knew that I scared her. And for some reason, that made me wrong enough. She didn't even hear me apologize to her when she said that I scared her. And then I told her she can say whatever she wants. And I apologized again, but I did not refute, or I didn't allow her to diminish what actually was the reality of what just happened there. I didn't explain it to her. She didn't care to know. I just told her a bunch of facts right quick that kind of shut her the hell up. And you can tell that, like, when people are suffering the ego, they want to compete, and it lowers their IQ and it makes them fact resistant, so they can't understand or learn anything, which is, I don't understand it myself, like how a person can just become resistant to knowledge and then like, oh, I have enough. I have my point of view is ignorant and illogical, but it is mine. So, anywho, I went into dialysis on the that day with the all-star crew, and I had to pull. I think I was 43 over, so I'm like, pull 4.3. I knew there was gonna be no problem, just in case there was That's another thing, they didn't communicate. It was so important that day. But on the very next treatment with the all-star crew, they didn't even communicate or know about what had happened before. So like I knew there was no problem with me pulling 43 since my new max is 45. And he just put it in, didn't skip a beat. I pulled the fluid. I ended up pulling off more than 43 that day. And I ran into a lot of positivity that day. A patient was there meeting all the other patients because he was transitioning from another center. And I thought he might have been somebody's relative or something like that. And it really choked me up to see another dialysis patient that was like positive and doing something like that I hadn't seen another patient do in 10 years. That was the first time I'd ever seen that. So it was just very, very rare to see that positivity, and it makes me believe that I do have abundance in my circle. I do have the best things finding me like gravity, with gravity, like a bird that stops flapping finds the earth. Like these things are gonna find me, because I'm putting in the work. So yeah, dialysis review for the 21st was me pulling 4.3, and in the end I pulled like 45 something according to the weight. That was the math. I'm sorry, I can't remember it. This is actually today's actually Sunday, so it was yesterday, and I don't actually remember. I don't keep them in my head. I should have did the video right after, but I had to do a bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna leave it there. That's 2 days review and evidence that a person can pull high amounts of fluid without endangering their life. A person can have high blood pressure without worried about a stroke. A person can, a person can be and not have the worry and the extra stress and the fear that they try to put into you, because that's what actually diminishes your immune system, diminishes your cardiovascular system, tells your heart that it's supposed to fail, tells your brain not to it tells your avatar that you're weak. It tells you to exhibit this weakness. And I don't tell my avatar nothing like that. I am strong. I am patient. I am intelligent. My heart is with me. My kidneys are sleeping, but they're going to wake up any day now. They're going to wake up. They already are waking up. They wake right now. I tell myself these things because the things that I want and the things that I need, they're starting to coincide. And I don't want to manifest them, manifest the need for them or the want for them. I want to manifest the presence of them. So I'm grateful in advance. I'm grateful for these kidneys that work. I'm grateful for this urinary tract that's always pumping out wastes. I'm grateful for my heart that's always pumping my blood to my extremities. I'm grateful for my movements through my vascular system that pump that blood back into my heart. I'm grateful for my brain that remembers every fucking thing and thirsts for knowledge and realizes the true knowledge, realizes the things that I don't even know that I know yet, but I know them now. I know them when I need to. That's the way I actualize. That's the way I use these cymatic frequencies to pull this shining future into my reality right now. So, take care, y'all.